Okay. Yeah, so these are a few records. I could go on and
A little
on.
more than a few, but
Well,
you know, you
yeah,
didn't
okay.
stop. You
Yeah, I
didn't
couldn't
stop.
stop once you asked me to do it. I couldn't
Right.
stop, but because my brain started working. So these are also my favorite drummers, a few of my favorite drummers, but I picked out the ones that I kind of relate to in terms of what I want to sound like
Okay.
if I ever was so lucky to be able to do that. But this is what I kind of go for when I try to get a sound, because I think this is some of the best sound that you can get drum wise on a recording. Now, it's still not the same as going to see these people live, and all these people I've heard live too, and the recordings don't really compare to that probably, but you know, you
But
can
a
only,
lot of them aren't, unfortunately,
some
still
of them
with
aren't
us.
here
Right.
anymore.
So,
So
you know.
so this is what you got. So okay, so I'll start at the beginning. This is a record by a great pianist, Wynton Kelly. This is called Kelly at Midnight, and this has the great Philly Joe Jones on the drums. And this is a Japanese pressing, actually. And Philly Joe's drums are just so upfront and personal and crisp and clear, and so you can hear his audacious technique and the way he has his drums tuned, and who knows if they were even his drums. Sometimes Philly was playing on whatever he could get his hands on, but nevertheless his touch was so great that he made the drums sound incredible. So Kelly at Midnight, Wynton Kelly, with Paul Chambers on bass and Philly Joe Jones on drums. Unbelievable record. I think it originally came out on the VJ label, but this is a Japanese pressing. Okay. Next we have Volume 1 and Volume 2 of the Great Jazz Trio, which is Hank Jones, Ron Carter, and Tony Williams. These records originally came out on a label called East Wind, and they were licensed through Inner City. And again, this is mid-70s Tony Williams with a bigger bass drum and black dot heads and bigger sticks and everything during his kind of fusion period. But he organized a band with Hank Jones, great pianist, and Ron Carter on bass. And this was done live at the Village Vanguard. And on this particular record, on a really good system, you can hear the fact that Tony Williams feathers his bass drum on all four beats,
Ah.
which a lot of people don't realize that he did. And I used to see him play a lot, and to see him do that with everything else that he was doing on top was one of the wonders of the world as far as I'm concerned. So on Moose the Mooch especially, the first track on here, just check out the way he's feathering the bass drum. If you got really revealing system that can do bass and can do micro details,
Wow.
you'll hear it.
That's the kind of stuff I want to really emphasize.
So Volume 1 and Volume 2.
All right.
All right? Okay. Next. Oh, did I just hit the microphone? Next, Steve Kuhm Trio. Steve Kuhn is a guy that I still play with. Great pianist. And Ron Carter on bass and the great Al Foster on drums. This is also done at the Village Vanguard. And so you can hear Al's very personal drum sound. Being a drummer, I'm really in touch with exactly what equipment some of these people are using. So Al's very famous for his use of a Paiste Dark Ride Sound Creation 22-inch ride cymbal, which is captured immaculately, again at the Village Vanguard. And I believe David Baker did this one as the other Tony Williams with Hank Jones too. So he really got the essence of these guys' sonic signature. So Al Foster with Steve Kuhn Trio. It's called Life's Magic. Unbelievable. This is the Pentagon. This is Cedar Walton, Clifford Jordan, Sam Jones, and the great Billy Higgins. This also originally came out on East Wind in Japan and was licensed through Inner City. This happens to be a direct-to-disc recording. And so you open up the inside and you see the direct-to-disc process and all that stuff with all the pictures of the cats. And this is just a great recording of Billy Higgins' beautiful touch, tuning, Paiste 22-inch 602 with rivets. It's the standard for that cymbal sound.
Ah.
Higgins, incredible. So Cedar Walton, Clifford Jordan, Sam Jones, and the great Billy Higgins. Okay, next, another Tony Williams. Well, we got two Tony Williamses. The one with Miles, Fide Kilimanjaro with Miles, Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, Tony Williams, and a couple of tracks with Chick Corea and Dave Holland replacing Ron and Herbie. Tony Williams' drum sound, Gretsch drums, old K. Zildjian cymbals, captured immaculately. This is the LP, but the box set of this, I think it's on the, I can't remember the box set it is. I think it's the In a Silent Way box set. It's on that. It's incredible. It's incredible. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. You can get the CD too, but incredible. And this one earlier, Rudy Van Gelder, Blue Note, Herbie Hancock, Maiden, Voyage, Tony again, cymbal sound, drum sound, state of the art, captured at Rudy Van Gelder's studio, Blue Note.
Anything special about his set?
His drum set, well, he always used Gretsch drums, old K. Zildjian cymbals during this time, but always Gretsch drums. And Gretsch drums and Blue Note and Rudy Van Gelder seem to be synonymous with each other. And
the Rudy ones and Hackensack, they were recorded in the room, not in a booth.
Well, this one wasn't Hackensack. This was Inglewood. Okay. Hackensack is earlier, and that's more, Tony wasn't recording he wasn't on the scene then. So, but those sound great too. So any of those records with Philly Joe Jones or Max Roach or Art Blakey or Kenny Clark or forget it, Arthur Taylor, incredible. But this one is a standout for me for the cymbal sound especially, and this one too, drums and cymbals, just incredible. Okay, next we're going to go to another one of my all-time favorites is the great Jack DeJohnette on ECM, and of course Jack DeJohnette is synonymous for his drum sound, and ECM's capturing his drum sound. This is from 1979, 80, and this is one of Jack's band's special edition. And again, the gear that he was using, sonar drums, Peisty cymbals that he basically kind of designed, the dark rides. He and Al Foster and Paul Motian were the chief presenters of the dark ride sound, which in my time we were all enthralled with that, and I still am. And so this is a great recording.
Well, what is the dark ride?
It's a cymbal made by Peisty Cymbal Company, and they don't make them anymore.
I mean, how is it different than others?
Well, it was kind of designed by Jack DeJohnette because he wanted cymbal sound from the past, but updated so that it could coincide with electronic instruments and things that were starting to take place in the 70s with fusion and all that kind of stuff. So he wanted a cymbal that had the warmth and the breath of an old K, which was with acoustic instruments, but could cut through the electronic instruments, so it was kind of fortified. And it was a special cymbal that only a few people really could even play. And he was one of them, and Al Foster's the other one. And then Paul Motian, too. But, okay, so this one, and then this one is earlier, New Rags, which was actually this never came out on CD, so this is a real gem. This is an unbelievable record. John Abercrombie, Alex Foster, and Mike Richmond, and Jack. Incredible drum sound. If you can find it, get it. Another Blue Note, somebody that's pretty much the Blue Note drummer that you can think of, and that's Art Blakey. And this isn't one of the Jazz Messengers records, which are all great. This is him as a sideman, which was kind of rare, and also Miles Davis as a sideman, which is kind of rare. On Cannonball Adderley's record with Sam Jones and Hank Jones on bass and piano. And Art Blakey's drum sound on here is just, whew, man, so beautiful, so tasty. Gretsch drums, K. Zildjian cymbals.
So did Adderley give, in sessions like this, where it's not a band that plays together all the time, does he give directions to each person, each musician?
I think all these guys just knew what to do. And, who knows, Miles could have been a little bit in charge. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there. I can't. Nobody's around to answer the questions about this one, but I know that it's this stands up there to me with. I mean, people talk about Kind of Blue and all that, but this was right around the same time, and it really stands up to it in terms of just everything is great about it. There's not one bad thing on here. It's just, and Art Blakey's drum sound is just, phew, the cymbals, the drums, all the little nuances, you know, and him being just the consummate sideman. So he's not necessarily out front doing his Art Blakey, you know, things, which is great. He's just being the perfect drummer.
But the thing is, do you or do these guys play differently in a studio than they do live? Do they adjust their technique?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes Art Blakey is just volcanic on studio recordings, just the way he was when he played live. And I don't think I think they play the music the way it should be played. It sounds like to me, it sounds like they don't alter their playing to fit a particular situation that they're in. I mean, you know, I would imagine that they wouldn't overplay or play too loud in a room that was reverberant, you know, that was going to cover people up. You know, they're masters. Okay. Paul Motian, Le Voyage, very just typical ECM 70s sound. J.F. Jenny Clark on bass and the great Charles Brackeen on saxophones. Just trio, no chords, no piano, no guitar. Space is the place on this. This is just sparse music, but beautiful. Just puts you in heaven. And the way Motian just picks his spots to play something, just that, you know, it doesn't have to be a lot of notes. He's not flailing around the drums. He's just picking his spots and being like a painter, just finding just the right shade of blue. And he's just incredible. Just incredible. One of my favorites.
Just give me one more.
One more? Oh man, I got three more.
No.
Elvin Jones, Remembrance. Look at that cover. Look at his outfit. This is just captures Elvin in the 70s. The cymbal sound, the drum sound, incredible. And this came out on the PAUSA PAUSA label. I think it's German. This is a great record. Never came out on CD that I know of. Maybe it has, but I don't know about it. And real quickly,
quick.
Billy Higgins with Clifford Jordan, Glass Bead Games on Strata East. Unbelievable. And Billy Higgins again with Lee Morgan on Blue Note. Incredible. All right.
Good. Thanks.
All right.
We'll do it again.
Okay.